Welcome back to another installment of... There's no ban list. There's nothing to complain about because the game's actually pretty good right now. Meme review, I guess? Sorry, it's been a while. How's you liking how the beard's coming along? And today we'll be discussing why Salaman Greats, or shall we say SalamanAVERAGE? Oh, he's one of those jokes, as Rata rank 10 Yu-Gi-Oh likes to say. He's one of those jokes. We'll be discussing that. Don't worry. But first of all, Emily and David, will you marry me? So, my girlfriend just proposed to me. 8,000 attack and defense. I mean, so you're getting married, she proposed to you with the Yu-Gi-Oh card. You would think that she could at least come up with some kind of PSCT or some kind of legal effect, because as far as I can see, the only way that you're actually able to summon Emily and David is with Dragon Mirror or something. I think, I don't know, what type is this? It says Godzilla. Who knows? That could be anything. Synchro materials? Who knows? It's a synchro card. We don't know what materials it requires. It's water. I don't know why you went with water. You went with water because you get her watery. This is a Christian channel, okay? I don't know what you were thinking I was gonna say. It looks like an ultimate rare. Like, I can kind of tell from the border here. Is that an ulti? Well, congratulations. I hope you have a happy marriage and you enjoy spending the rest of your life with someone who doesn't understand basic PSCT and doesn't know how to design a synchro card. I'm not saying you've went neg, but I don't see this lasting very long. You know, once per turn, target one boyfriend, will you marry me? Something like that could have worked. You could maybe play it. As of right now, this card is going to need some serious work through R&D. People still send me table 500s. I appreciate it. I do check them sometimes, and occasionally I'll put them in a video, I suppose. I won't probably have dedicated videos again, but I guess this is fine. I don't know what this is. Mech Knight Field Spell Turbo, I think he called it. There's a whole bunch of World Legacy cards here. I'm not going to read. I'm allergic to reading. I have a phobia of reading. Jack of the World? What is this stuff? What? 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 Ha! That... Where's your extra deck? Where's your hand? What just happened? Banish 8 Mech Knight monsters with different names from your grave and or face up from your field. Send your opponent's entire hand and extra to the grave. Yo, is this consistent? Yo, Rescue Rabbit into double check this out. Check this out. I have no hand. I have one card. Check this out. I have one card for turn. Is there any deck in the game that could play through this? I can't think. Is there any deck in the entire game that could play through top decking one card and 0 extra deck cards? With, you know, I think Blue Sky is coming back. There you go. Nice, dude. Nice. I think I need a shower now. That was disgusting. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little thumbnail thing of Simo here, and then I'm just going to talk over this as if I made this pie chart when it wasn't. It was actually him. So pretend that this is me. Yep, just like that. Perfect. Great. Good job, Daniel. Daniel's my editor. I just hired him.
Firewall Dragon is not the problem card.
Fine, I lied. I don't actually have an editor. So I think this is from ARG Vegas, or whatever it's called. As you can see here, the most dominant deck in Top Cut was Salaman Greats. Why are you calling it SalamanAVERAGE then, Farfa? Well, first and foremost, I always said from the very beginning, Salaman Great is going to be a pretty okay deck. I think it's going to be a strong deck. It's going to be middle of the pack in the meta. I don't think it's going to be the best deck, but I think it will be very powerful, and I think it will be very good. Now you're probably wondering, oh, how is it average if it took most of the top cut spots already? The reason for that is that the idea, and it's a concept that sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh players are unfamiliar with, and that's like the idea of representation versus popularity. And when you have a deck that is highly represented, it's naturally going to get most of the top cut spots. So for the better part of like the last year, Sky Striker was the deck which had this popularity syndrome, which Sky Striker got dominant amounts of tops in Top Cut at basically every single event throughout the entire of 2018. Not because I think that it was a particularly good deck, or that it's particularly powerful. It's because it was super represented. Like, you would look at the statistics for YCS and you would see something like absurd, like 25 to 30% of the entire room. Not just, you know, in top cut, but like the entire representation of the whole field were playing Sky Striker. When you have so many people playing a certain deck, naturally, jokingly, the more people play something, the more likely it is to do well. Just theory of numbers. It's just pure statistical, like, maths, right? On the opposite side, if you look at YCS London, I think is a very good example of this. We had the Danger FTK. That deck had a insanely high conversion rate. You had very few people actually enter with the deck, like 30, and I think like 5 of them topped or something, right? So that's like a crazy good percentage conversion rate for entry to top cut. Now the reason why I think, you're probably wondering what the hell does this have to do with Salad Boys? Salad Boys, I think, did so well at this event, not because I think the deck is just really good. There was a lot of well-known and high-profile pro players running the deck. Put it this way, if every single good player in the game plays Dark Magician, but all the average players play Sky Striker, you'll probably see Dark Magician with like 3 or 4 YCS tops per event. Does that make Dark Magician a good deck? No, it doesn't. The reason it's not a good deck is because pro players and good players overall are just able to do well regardless of what they're given. TLDR, when a deck is popular, it's going to get lots of tops. That doesn't necessarily make it good. If a deck is highly represented, it doesn't mean it's good either. It just means that lots of people chose to play it, and statistically, you're more likely to get a lot of people topping with it. You see? Numbers and facts and results simply give you information. They don't give you the full story. And that's something you have to analyze and break down and try and figure out why is the deck so dominant. And that's hopefully what the purpose of Yu-Gi Chambers like myself is for, to actually make good competitive content and tell you why decks are good or not. Simo wants to know your location. Hey bro, how good is Salad Boys? Kazuki Takahashi. Psy Shift, first edition. Quick effect. You could target one opponent. Move them to another match. I like how even the attack and defense is moved to the left. Copyright 1969. What kinetic puppeteer? 1960. I don't even think that's the day. You know, I would love to see this go down in real life. I would love to see someone just being moved to a different table, like mid-game. It's my effect. What do you mean? Why are you mad? Just go sit over there. It's part of my card. My card says go sit over there. This is Calvin Tahan, representative of Team ARG. Captain Calvin. Wow. The most important job that he's ever had is managing a Yu-Gi-Oh team. What a guy. Summarizing all of this point for you, basically, if you want to pause the video and have a read at this, fair play. But what they do at ARGs is that they take 2 dice, and one of them is minus, one of them is positive, and they roll them, and then they find the total of that dice. So -6 plus a +4, for example, is -2. So overall, that's a -2. So they made minus 2 minutes from the clock, so the 38 minutes. So at ARG events, they don't have a clock. You can't see how long is left on the clock, and there's a random plus or minus roughly up to 5 minutes, usually like 2 or 3 minutes, time on the clock. So rounds and ARGs are, you know, sometimes 37 minutes, sometimes they're 43 minutes, sometimes they're 35 minutes in extreme cases, etc., right? The purpose of this, they say, is that you are unable to stall. So when you have this plus or minus thing, it basically removes anyone's ability to cheat like that. And at first, when I read this, I thought that is the most extreme, convoluted, just arbitrary, random madness I've ever read. That is the dumbest thing ever. But the more I actually just sit and think about this, it's actually genius. It's kind of it's not that great, because sometimes you have extreme cases where a round can be 35 or 45 minutes. That's really extreme. You know, some decks I feel become sort of unplayable round about the 40-minute mark, to be honest. That's why I would never take Altergeist or Sky Striker to an event, because I just feel like that deck is just very vulnerable to time, especially if you have something like 35-minute rounds. So there are extreme cases, but overall, the best thing about this is that it completely removes anyone's ability to cheat. As they could be in the 38th minute, they could be, you know, they could have a watch that says 39 minutes, and they could see it's approaching 40 minutes, but you can't stall, because you could, if you stall, there could be 3 minutes left, there could be 10 seconds left, there could be 7 minutes left. You can't really tell, because the dice were rolled before the event started, and obviously no one is told about this. So absolutely insane, but at the same time, Insanity is what makes great ideas. I think if anything that gets rid of the clock is probably for the best, because it's way too easy to cheat, and it's so obvious when someone is playing for time now. So I think this is kind of a good idea, but I'd love to get feedback on it, and I'd love to see what people think about it, because I think this is so crazy but also really cool at the same time. You are my favorite content creator I am not subscribed to. Why are you not subscribed to me? I just comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Keep spending most our lives